Today, you can bring a block to your practice. And if you like to roll up a towel, if you're on a hard surface, you might want to bring a towel beneath the knees here. We're going to take a more dramatic expression of child's pose today. So widening the knees, the big toes kind of angle in towards each other, but they probably won't touch, and the arms are going to extend forward. If this isn't comfortable for you, find a position that is. This can be an intense stretch for the inner thighs and the hips. So ease into it, see what feels good in your body, and listen to your body. Again, I'm here to guide you, but you're the only one that knows how you feel. So honor that, respect that. That's a part of the practice. We're going to begin to find some movement. So keeping the forearms planted on the earth, we're going to shift the heart forward and lift the gaze up towards the sky if that feels okay, and then rock it back. Awesome. Finding a flow with that. We're going to inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, maybe flatten the feet in the back. It's called frog pose, and then rock it back. So melt the heart forward, flat feet in the back, and then bring the toes in as you rock it back. Walk the hands up towards the body. Taking just a moment here, breathing into the hips and inner thighs, indulging in the stretch. And then tucking the toes, lifting the hips up for a downward facing dog. Taking a moment to pedal out the legs. We'll be doing a lot of intense standing lower body stretches today. Holding some of the poses for a few breaths. Working on creating space. So you'll have your block nearby. You may or may not use the block. I'll show you some different modifications through this practice. For now, we're just loosening up the low back. So knees have just the slightest micro bend here, or maybe they're bent a little more generously. We're going to find a sway here to release tension in the low back, relax through the neck. And then go ahead, walk your hands over to the right foot, nose towards the knee, utilizing the stretch to stretch that left shoulder. Find that on the opposite side, so stretching through the right side body, the left leg, nose towards the knee. Make your way back to center. We'll find some halfway lifts and lower. Halfway lift and lower. One more time. Half lift, flat back and lower. Heel toe the feet in a little bit, soften the knees, and roll up one vertebrae at a time to stand. Chin will be the last thing to rise. Inhale reaches the arms up overhead, and then interlace the fingers, press the palms to the sky, and tilt to the right for a left body side stretch. Inhale through center, and exhale, tilt to the other side. Inhale back to center. Release the bind. Bring the arms out to a T, so you're in a 5-point star. Angle the toes outward. We're going to squat down for goddess pose. Flip the palms like you're holding two trays, and then bend the elbows. Sink low in this squat. You're going to have a slight tuck in the pelvis so the booty's not sticking up out. The tailbone is reaching down towards the earth. Go ahead, lengthen. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, bring the hands out to a T. Squat back down. Maintaining the breath here, holding the pose but not the breath. And then inhale, arms come up. Exhale, squat down. Inhale, back to center. We're going to angle those right toes towards the right side of our mat. So they're facing forward. Back foot is parallel with the short edge of the mat. And then we're going to reach the right arm forward and tilt. Coming to our triangle pose here, I'm showing a modification with the block. This helps to bring the earth a little bit closer to you and keeps the shoulders beautifully stacked. Otherwise, if you're trying to come to this pose but don't quite have the flexibility, the shoulders will begin to cave. Good, the left hand's going to come down. We're going to frame the foot and find our pyramid pose. You may walk that back foot up a little bit or hop it up just a little bit. We're bringing the nose towards the knee, trying to release any tension in the neck here. Awesome. Go ahead and scoochie that back foot towards the back of the mat. Generously bend into that front knee so you're in a low runner's lunge. Good. Go ahead, walk the hands to the inside of that right knee. And you could use a block here to keep the heart lifted. You want a flat back here. Or you can bring the hands to heart center if you feel supported enough by the low body. Go ahead and take that block over to the other side if you're using it. Same stretch on the opposite side. So now those back toes are angling to the left side of our mat. Good. Shifting over to the right, bringing your block as needed. We want a lot of length in the spine here. The heart's lifted rather than curving. Beautiful. And take it to the other side. This time the toes are pointing towards the sky, and that's totally optional. Walk over to frame that left foot, generous bend in that left knee. Gaze is forward like you're taking off for a race, focused, strong, energetic through that back leg and back heel. Hop that back foot up slightly, lengthen through the left leg, micro bend in that knee. Maybe you choose to use a block, or maybe you soften. It's okay to release the spine and upper back here in the back of the neck. Release any tension that you can, indulging in this stretch. Using the block for assistance, I'm going to plant my left arm and open up my right. So stacking the shoulders again. Back to our triangle pose. Carefully rising up, realigning the spine, stacking the shoulders over the hips, and then adjusting the feet. So maybe shortening your stance just a smidge. The toes angle outward, and then we're going to take a forward fold, leading with the heart. Lengthen the spine until you meet that edge, and then soften. So the block can be used as a measuring tool here. See if maybe when you're in your fold, if you bring the block to the highest level, if the crown of the head can reach the block. If you've got that, then maybe you stack the block on a lower level, lower setting. We're just experimenting here. And maybe eventually, you may need to widen your stance out a little bit. Maybe eventually, one day, in the near or far future, you can bring the crown of the head to the earth. But always being kind to yourself, giving yourself grace for where you're at, even if your flexibility isn't where you want it to be. That's why we're here. Go ahead and find a few half lifts, flat backs, engaging the core as you lift, and each time you lift. Heel toe those feet inward. Roll it up to stand, micro bend in the knee, and inhale, arms come up. Angle those heels inward, toes point outward, squat down for goddess. Flip the palms, maybe send your gaze up. Breathe into that space. Inhale, reaches up, hands come together. Exhale, point the right toes forward, bend into that knee nice and strong, warrior two. Peaceful warrior drops the back arm, front arm reaches overhead. Modified side angle softens the right elbow, left arm reaches overhead. Nice long stretch for the left side body. Go ahead, reach that right arm up as if you have a beach ball. Bring it overhead and then drop that beach ball towards the back. Good. Inhale back to center. Straighten through that front leg. Reach it forward. Take it to your triangle pose. This pose gets its name. You can see the legs create a triangle. Good. Bend into that knee generously. We're going to play with a bind here. So see what's there for you today. So we're bringing the right shoulder as close to the right knee as possible. And then we're threading the right arm through. And then bringing the left arm down and back to see if it can grasp those right fingertips. If not, you can always use a strap. Good. We're going to lengthen through that front leg, hop the back leg up, back to pyramid pose. Keeping in mind that every pose looks different in every body. Every body has different ranges of motion. We're going to bend into that front knee. Generously reach the arms up for a crescent lunge, strong, active through the back leg, spiking the heel towards the back. Beautiful. And then walk the hands to the inside of that right knee. Hands to heart center or resting on a block will transition to the left side. Option to bring those toes up as you transition back to the right side. And transition to the other side, just moving a little bit quicker through our motions. Plant the hands, walk the hands over to frame the left foot, runner's lunge. Inhale, reaches up, slow, steady, and controlled and strong. Open the heart. Bring the hands down to frame the foot. Left arm walks inside of that left foot. Left shoulder aligns towards the left knee. And then see if you have the bind. If you're using a strap, the strap will be in the right hand. You'll just drop the strap down to the left and use that to help complete your bind. Inhale, opens. Lengthen through the front leg. In your triangle pose. Beautiful. We're going to frame the front leg. Going through the movements in reverse this time, so coming to our pyramid pose. Softening as much as we can. Nose towards the knee, using blocks on either side of the foot to help bring the earth to us if that helps. And then go ahead and open back to our triangle pose. We'll return to our warrior two on the left side. Left arm reaches overhead as the right arm drops back. Soften the elbow. Right arm comes overhead. Nice long stretch in the right side body. Left arm comes up to meet the right, holding the beach ball and then dropping it back towards that right foot. Beautiful. Inhale back to center. Heel toe those feet in, toes point out, and squat down for goddess. Inhale, bring those arms up overhead. Exhale, squat to goddess. Inhale up, exhale, squat. Inhale up, exhale, squat. Inhale up, interlace the fingers behind your back, open the heart. Maybe you send your gaze up. Roll those shoulder blades onto the back, and then forward fold. Lengthen the spine until you meet your edge. Then drop the head. Micro bend in the knees. Don't lock out the knees. Maybe your knuckles reach up towards the sky. Maybe they rest on your low back. See what's available here. Maybe you have a shoulder injury. If that's the case, fold your arms behind your back to make a less intense variation. Release the arms down to the mat. This is playtime here, guys. So maybe again, you see if you've gained a little bit more flexibility, you use that block, or maybe you're working on an arm balance or a headstand or a forearm stand. I'm demonstrating a forearm stand or preparation of forearm stand. So lifting the heels, rocking forward onto the toes. The forearms are on the earth. The head is not supporting the body in any way. It might be gently touching the hands or grazing the earth, but there's no pressure on the neck here. It's all in the forearms, all in the shoulders and upper back body. And then the core is what lifts the hips over the shoulders. So experiment, play. If you want to pause the video and find a wall and play against a wall, maybe just rocking towards the balls of the feet, lifting the heels, that's all up for grabs, all up to you. And then when you're ready, return to the video. Go ahead, heel toe the feet in. We're going to go for our crow pose. So finding that connection between the knees and the triceps. Squeezing, creating that ball of energy, gazing forward, lifting the hips, and then shifting the weight from one foot to the other. If you have the hold, go ahead and take it all the way back. Hop back to plank. Shoot the legs back behind you without thinking too hard about it. Take your vinyasa and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Go ahead, drop the knees. We'll come to seated. We're going to bring the left foot into the right thigh here. This is one of my favorite poses. We did a lot of hamstring stretching here and some binding. So this is just a fun pose to try and see where you're at, flexibility and mobility wise. So again, bringing the right shoulders close to the right knee as possible, threading the arms through, using a strap to bring the hands together if needed. And then we're not even going to worry about straightening the leg. Keep the leg bent at first if you want. We're rocking onto that left hip. And then you can play with extending the leg. Keep in mind, it takes a lot of flexibility to get that leg fully extended. I'm going to show you the same thing from the back. So this time, the right foot comes to the left inner thigh. Bend that left knee, left shoulder to left knee as close as possible. Thread it through. And then play with the leg. Rock onto that right hip. See if you can maybe lift the toes off the earth. Maybe you'll have a bend in the knee. And then maybe you can just play with straightening through the leg a little bit. See what's there. Have fun with it. This is a pose you can come back to time after time and see progress after you've been practicing. So that's why I like to show you these. A lot of times people think, oh my gosh, no way I could ever get there. But with practice, it comes closer and closer each time they practice it. It's amazing. Good, we're coming back to seated. Easy pose here. We're gonna interlace the fingers behind the back and open the heart. So straighten through the arms as much as possible. being kind and gentle to the shoulders. Good. We're going to soften the elbows, bring the knuckles over to the right side of the hip, and then tilt the right ear towards the right shoulder, giving yourself a nice stretch through the left side of the neck. Good. Come back to center, straighten through the elbows, and then bend and soften. Knuckles come to the left hip, left ear to left shoulder. Nice stretch through the right side of the neck. Breathe into that space. Good. Go ahead and lengthen through the arms. Grab the knuckles towards the earth. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Drop the hands to heart center and just take a moment to release any tension that might be remaining in the neck, the shoulders, the mind. Taking a moment for gratitude or reflect back on your intention. And be proud of yourself for showing up time after time. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.